So I have a couple of short time-lapse videos from last night, July 26th, and they're not the Star Trail videos. I decided to use a different setting on the Nikon P950 for just night sky time-lapse. And I zoomed it in on Polaris there. And this one's not really too eventful. You can still kind of, detect the pulse when I put it into the editor. But this other one, there's something kind of curious that, pops out, and it could very well be a plane. I don't know. But this is the original. And again, from July 26th, from last night. And you don't really see any of this extra stuff that goes on until you put it into the program and like add some filters and things like that. There's different things that will pop out. And I put it into the editing program and I just kind of slowed it down. And then I exposed it and used a couple of different filters to just kind of draw out some more details of some of the energy that's flowing up there. Because I've captured the pulse. There's always off in this direction, there's always this pulse. And that's why I find this video here curious, because it seems like this pulse is emanating from in behind this light source they call Polaris. But there's like a streak that comes through there. Did you see that? I'm not sure. It could very well be a plane. I don't know. Typically when the planes come through, they have lights on them. All of them all have lights. So when the planes come through these time-lapse captures, they leave behind like a dotted line. But this that comes through really fast and just leaves a streak. You see that? There's like no lights with it. So I'm hesitant to think that it was just a plane. And I do zoom in on it a little bit closer. But that pulse right there, I think is kind of curious because it's a little bit offset from where I normally see the pulse. And it seems to get a little bit brighter just as that streak comes through. Right there. You see that? It's like I don't know, it's like a little trail of some kind. But, like I said, because I'm repetitive, if it was an airplane, there would be like these little dotted lines, like around it. You know what I mean? Well, that's going to make a good sound bite. I don't know. I don't think that that's a plane. If it was a plane, there would be, like a dotted line of lights. And it's interesting that it gets really bright like that just as that streak comes through right there. So I don't know. And then the second time lapse is not as eventful. But you can still see the pulse when I, repeated it, slowed it down, and then applied some filters to it. You can see there's the pulse that I was talking about. And there's where it typically is at. You can see how it's off over here, right? That's typically where I see this pulse of energy that flows through the northern skies. Whenever I do any time-lapse videos, whether it's a star trail or just a regular night sky, this over here, like what you see there, is typically where I see that pulse. But where that streak is at, you can see that pulse is more behind Polaris. See that? Whereas, the typical pulse that I see is usually over here. So that pulse is kind of migrated for, just for this, short capture here. That pulse was, happening right over here. Yeah, I don't know. It's kind of interesting because I don't think that it's a plane. And I'm repetitive. If you're new to the channel and you're a new subscriber, you'll realize very quickly in my videos that I tend to repeat things. I'm quite repetitive. And to me, it doesn't really look like a plane. And I'm wondering what is that? Is that something on my screen? Hang on a second. I gotta see. Let me. Yeah, I don't know. I think that might be something on my screen. Hmm. Yeah, yeah, that's not a plane, guys and gals. I don't think that's a plane. That was something else streaking through up there. Yeah, I don't know. Whatever it is, it looks like it was influencing the energy flow up in the sky coming from the north. Because that, like I said, because I'm repetitive, that typical pulse that I see is right off in that direction up in here. And you can see it right there emanating from this source right in here. But when this thing streaks through, that pulse is more around Polaris. So, I don't know. Whatever. I think we need a whole lot more transparency from these agencies and these research and development groups that are up there researching and developing space wars and Star Wars technologies. There seems to be an awful lot of talk about Star Wars technologies. And I'm gathering up a couple of more articles and a little more information on a video that I want to do concerning that, the whole Star Wars thing. And even Trump in his most recent shows that he's put on. I call it the Trump show. They call them Trump rallies, but when we watch it, I put on the Trump show because it's like an entertainment show at this point. And I mean, no offense to, Trump or anyone that is a big fan of Trump. I really don't. But to me, it just seems like a big show going on, the Trump show. And it's entertaining, I gotta say. And it's interesting to me to see how incredibly popular wrestling still is. It is something else. It is, we used to watch it when my boys were younger. We used to watch, Monday Night Raw, and we used to watch the SmackDown, and we, very rarely missed a WrestleMania or a SummerSlam or any of that. It was all very entertaining. And I mean, we were watching back in the days so when Chris Benoit was still around, playing the part of the shooter, and the Hart family was still involved in a lot of it. So that was quite a long time ago, and all of the characters have pretty much changed. They still bring back some of the season ones, though, it seems like, from what I've noticed. But it's interesting to see the very large fan base of the wrestling industry, yeah, and the entertainment industry there. It's pretty huge, and Trump's had a very close association with that industry for a long time. And I'm really, leaning toward the notion that he's playing a part. And this whole thing that's occurred recently has just got a lot of questions, and very few answers. And the answers that we are given are just, begging to be questioned. And I'm going to work on another video because I want to present some more information on the whole Star Wars thing and some of the research and development going on and different things. And that's up and coming in the next 48 hours or so, hopefully. I just wanted to share this here because I typically, when I capture planes or, aircraft flying through these time lapse videos, they all have lights. But this, whatever this was, did not have lights, and it came through pretty fast. And it brought a little bit of energy with it. So, yeah, I don't know. Whatever. And again, because I'm repetitive, I will say it again. This was captured last night. And this 3:02 p.m. is not correct. This would actually have been just before midnight. So I think it goes by universal time or something like that. So this is not correct. It's obviously nighttime. It's not 3:02 p.m. But for some reason, the camera wants to, adjust the automatic settings that we put in it because we program the camera for the current time and for our time zone. But it still wants to follow this whole UTC theme, which is ridiculous. I don't get it. But anyway, that's that. That's the recent Polaris, curiosity, I'll call it. I don't necessarily call it an anomaly, but it's curious to me anyway, and I hope that you find it curious. And I noticed too, before I end this video, I just want to mention that I've reached that 600 subscriber mark, which is kind of interesting. I really didn't think I would ever get to that point. When I got 300 subscribers, I celebrated because I thought, well, this is freaking awesome, cool. I got 300 allies, which really, half of them are most likely bots. But anyway, I'll take it. I appreciate it. And so now, since I did something for 300 subs and 400 subs and 500 subs, now I've got to think of something to do for 600 subs. So I don't know what I'm going to do that involves 600 of something or whatever. I think I did marshmallows for the 500. I don't remember. I'd have to go back through my videos to see, but it's kind of a milestone, a mile marker, so to speak, on this platform. And I appreciate it. And hopefully you stick around. I don't know. There's my content is pretty well varied. I try to stick mostly to these sky things and anomalies going on. But when there's something going on in our culture around me that seems to be taking up a lot of people's, time, and people seem to be preoccupied by a lot of these things going on, I feel compelled to share my personal opinion on it because I do kind of view YouTube and my channel as somewhat of an outlet, a video diary of sorts, where I can share my thoughts and opinions with, hopefully like-minded people. But, I'm finding there are as many like-minded people, but the more I, go at this and persist on sharing my thoughts and opinions in my videos, the more people that are like-minded I'm finding. And I find that to be comforting on a certain level. It offers me a small level of security. You know what I mean? It's like having allies. It's like having, I don't know. I don't know how to explain it other than, like I typically say that, I appreciate you and that you matter very much to me. And it really is true. I'm 100% genuine when I say that. It does matter very much. The view, the like, the shares, all of it, the comments, it's all greatly appreciated, more than I can even say. So we'll see what I can come up with for celebrating 600 subscribers. We'll see. I don't know what I'm going to do. I don't know. If you have any suggestions, give me some comments and let me know what you think about that, because I don't think it's a plane. I really don't. Keep in mind, too, that they've been doing red flag exercises up in this area of the sky, up by Nellis, for the last couple of weeks. So, stay mindful, folks. Know that I appreciate you and that you matter very much to me.